Hey everyone, I am Ashley Billington and this is the Campfire. Last week we dove into the lower classifications. Well, today we begin going district by district and we start things up in 858 Division 1. After realignment, here are the teams who will be competing in that district. Goose Creek Memorial, Baytown Lee, Baytown Sterling, Crosby, Kingwood Park, LaPorte, Barbers Hill,
New Caney Porter,
and Port Arthur Memorial. That's a tough 9-team district with 2020 state runner-up Crosby moving up from D2 to D1. Let's analyze those teams now in our film session.
The only team left from last year's 858 Division 1 is New Caney Porter, as the district underwent quite the facelift. The Spartans struggled to a 2-8 record last year, but with new opponents in 858, Porter hopes to be in contention for a playoff spot. The favorite in this district should be the Crosby Cougars. Having jumped up from Division 2, Crosby has built themselves quite the reputation. In 2020, they made it to the state final, and last year, they were in the state semifinals. The Cougs returned dual-threat quarterback Kyron Miles and a stout defense to contend for the district title. Barbers Hill joins Crosby on the jump from Division 2. The Eagles finished 6-6 last year, but pulled off one of the biggest upsets of the year by beating Fort Bend Marshall. Kingwood Park is also making the jump from Division 2 to 1 and should make some noise in this district. Formerly of 958 Division 1, Baytown Lee, Sterling, Goose Creek Memorial, LaPorte, and Port Arthur Memorial move over to this district. The Ganders and Port Arthur Memorial have what it takes to finish in the top 4 with athletes across the board, while the other 3 will battle to get wins and possibly push their way into that last postseason spot.
All of our 5A Division 1 districts will be 9-team districts, which means very little time to prepare before the games that count begin. Let's dig even deeper into 5A Division 1 with Houston Chronicle reporter John Poorman and producer Ward Fasold in our district breakdown.
All right, district breakdown time. We are joined with John Poorman from the Houston Chronicle. We're talking 8-5A Division 1. John, 4 teams moved out and 4 teams move in, but the teams that moved in seem to be pretty salty here. It should be a pretty decent district here.
Yeah, it definitely looks like a pretty solid district. Crosby, of course, has been, the cream of the crop in 5A Division 2 from the Houston area the past couple of seasons, making it to a state championship game and then making it to the state semifinals last year. I obviously think that they're going to be the favorites coming in this year, especially with some of the talent that they have coming back. Coach Jerry Prieto has done an amazing job with that program since he took over, obviously, and they're going to have a huge target on their back, even in this new district. They have a new challenge moving up to Class 5A Division 1, but I think they'll definitely be ready.
Talk about any other players that you may see in this district that people need to know about.
Yeah, well, I know Josh Evans Pickens well. I know his game well from being up at the Courier in Montgomery County and covering Porter. So I know their program well, the culture that, Jim Hawley really got started when he took over, and now Billy Russell has just continued there. They're always going to be the mix. Pickens, his dad has been on the coaching staff, and it's been kind of a family affair for them. He burst onto the scene as a sophomore, really talented player. He's coming into his senior year now. I would expect big things from him. But you look across the board, there's going to be some talented players, on all these teams for sure. I mentioned Miles over at Crosby, and Port Arthur Memorial's always got some great athletes and skill position players. So it's going to be a challenge week in and week out, that's for sure.
I'll be looking forward to talking to you next week, John.
Sounds good.
The guys had much more to say on this powerhouse district, and you can catch the entire district breakdown this Wednesday on our social media platforms. We've heard about the teams. Now let's take a look at some of the players to watch out for and our players on the rise.
At Baytown Lee, Ja'Cory Boston spent his first 2 years as a wide receiver. Last year, he was the Ganders quarterback. Simply put, Boston is a flat-out athlete. A decision on what position he'll play this year has not been made, but one thing is for sure, Ja'Cory will be a game changer at wherever he is on the gridiron. Crosby's Kyron Miles stepped into the quarterback position last year, and the Cougars didn't miss a beat. He threw for almost 2,500 yards and 32 touchdowns for Crosby last year as the Cougs made it to the state semifinal. On the ground, he rushed for 1,357 yards and 20 more scores. In other words, when Miles had the ball in his hands, good things happened for the Cougars. Kingwood Park's aerial attack will go through wide receiver Pierce Richards. The senior caught 62 passes last year for over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. Richards is a dangerous receiver in the slot who can take what looks like a minimal gain and turn it into a house call. He was first team all-district last year in 12-5A and will look to do the same in his new district. Josh Evans Pickens is what they call a shifty back for the New Caney Porter Spartans. The first team all-district player a year ago is hard to bring down on initial contact because of his lower center of gravity. Arm tackles won't work on this powerful back as he'll bounce off them and gain another 10 to 20 yards. Evans Pickens also sports a 4.5 GPA and is a standout on the baseball team.
That is some serious talent, but it takes some top-notch coaches to get the best out of their players. Our Word for Sold caught up with Baytown Lee's head coach, Tim Finn, to find out how his Ganders are going to navigate this district and much, much more on our Media Day segment.
All right, Media Day segment. I'm joined with Tim Finn from Baytown Lee. Coach, let's talk about your new district. After realignment, you got we got a few new teams coming in there, some powerful teams as well with Crosby and Barbers Hill and New Caney Porter. Talk to me about what you think your district, how it's going to flush out.
Are you trying to ruin my day? Yeah, I mean, it really is a loaded district. So, you know, we kept our district champ and collected a state semifinalist and a 3 or 4 round year in and year out team added on top of the New Caney, you know, and that's a direction I've never been in, the New Caney and Porter and Kingwood Park. So those are completely new to my experience. You know, we played Barbers Hill before. We've been in the district with Crosby before, but you know, and so anyway, it really is a strong, loaded district, and and unfortunately, we've got put in a 9-team district on top of it. So, yeah, it's a heck of a challenge for us.
Spring ball coming up. Besides the O and D lines, where your eyes going to be wandering for guys to kind of step up and maybe claim a position that they didn't have before?
Well, and that's what we're challenging them to, honestly. We've got a lot of O linemen. We're going to lose. We got a couple of them returning. But that's our big guys that we had in the O-line are leaving. So it's going to be a battle there, a competition there for the spots on the varsity and who's going to start in the O-line.
I appreciate you joining us, Coach Finn, and good luck this season.
No, glad to be here, and good to meet you and glad to be here.
Thanks a lot, you guys. And to hear that entire interview, check back on our social media platforms on Friday. That's going to do it for this week's show. Be sure to join us next week when we move to 9-5A Division I, otherwise known as the Houston ISD District. However, they added a +1 this year with Galveston Ball. You can keep up with everything on the high school football scene on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Until next time, I'm Ashley Billington, and thank you for watching The Campfire.